from Radio Row in Los Angeles, California, LA Football Network has you covered for the latest football news, podcasts, and interviews all week, featuring Ryan Dyrud, Ryan Anderson, Dan Wolkenstein, Will Decker, Jamal Madney, and Nick and Dean Vespi. Our city, our network, our Super Bowl. This is LA Football Network.
What is up, and welcome out to Radio Row at LA Football Network. Will Decker and Dan Wolkenstein for LAFB. We've got a special guest in the house, Mr. Darren Rovell. What is going on, my man?
What is up? What is up, people?
How are you today?
I'm good. I'm early. I'm on this is like my fourth of 25 interviews, so I'm feeling good. Yesterday I had a migraine, which kind of put a little crimp in my plans, but yeah, we're good. We're good.
We're really honored to have you on. You are an expert in the gambling industry when it comes to this. NFTs, I'm really interested in learning about that. I am not the person to know, so I'm interested
Listen,
to hear.
we're all hopped up. Sports gambling is the most calm thing going on right now. I mean, with crypto, Bitcoin, NFTs, memorabilia. I mean, I think we just haven't had normal human interaction in so long that
Yes.
that we're willing to do anything. Like we're buying virtual land. I mean, I did have I will say this, and I've been telling the story. At some point in the middle of this, I really needed some help, and I bought $93,000 in digital horses. Now, my excuse was, it had utility. You could race them, really race them. You could really win money. You could breed them. It was great. 40 days in, my wife is like, something weird's going on with you. You're using your AirPods, which you never use. You're whispering around the house. You're closing doors.
Uh-oh.
She's like, are you cheating on me? And I'm like, no, I'm just trying to get my stable together. And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I bought digital horses. And she's like, how much did you spend? I'm like, $93,000. She went nuts. And I go, but they're worth $250,000 now, I swear. She goes, well, you better sell them because I am livid. And I sold them for $250,000, so I netted maybe like $140,000. Okay. So a couple days ago, I just decided everyone's still talking about Zed Run, this digital horses, and I got in really early. I looked up the price of the horses that I sold.
Oh, no.
No, I'm getting bad vibes, man. You gotta tell me what this is.
I feel like you're mad at your wife now.
$9 million.
No.
Bro, my heart just sank, dude.
Oh,
I'm
so sorry.
That is as bad as it gets, brother. I'm sorry to hear that.
I wouldn't be on Radio Row. I mean, I would be like, but here's the thing.
You've got a
at
yacht.
the end of the day, there's going to be someone holding the bag, right? And all these things can't go up forever. But that's a little anecdote that I think is kind of unfortunately funny.
That is probably the best way we've started, or just the most interesting way we've started an interview
How I
this
lost
week.
$8.5 million.
Darren would be on Jerry Jones's yacht right now if that didn't happen.
Did I lose $8.5 million, or did
The
I make
opportunity
$140,000?
cost. There you go.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about how you kind of got into the game of sports media, talking about the business of sports betting, memorabilia, NFTs, things like that. You went to Northwestern University.
Yeah.
What made you want to go into this industry? Because Dan and I are just sports fans alike, and we want to make this a career. Was it something similar for you?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to toil in the small markets, right? So I people might not get this reference if you're younger than 28. I liked reading the green pages of USA Today as much as the red pages, right? So the money section was the B section and sports was the C section. And most people just take the sports section out. I kind of stopped. Didn't like the purple section, life section. I didn't like that at all.
Neither do I.
But I couldn't believe that in 1998, as big as the business of sports was, that no one was really covering it on a national level. So I started a sports business radio show at Northwestern just when the internet was coming about, so that I could then, as a student, be you could actually hear me. And ESPN came to campus my senior year and was looking for something else. And I said, just give me 10 minutes. I got to tell you why you have to have someone to talk about the business of sports. And I had evidence that anytime they talked about the business source, anytime there's a dollar sign on the front page of ESPN, it was an AP story. And I basically said to the guy, who luckily was not an HR person. If it was an HR person, they said, we're not hiring for this job. You can't, make up a job. But it was some senior executive who actually listened to me. And I said, why is it acceptable for you to say, well, we obviously have to have reporters for sports, but then you put in something on salary caps or something else, or a stadium deal or this and that, and it's an AP story. It makes no sense. Don't you want to be the leader of all part? So at 21, I got my job at ESPN. It's crazy. It's crazy. And then, but then it's not there. Then it's like, I have my dream job. How do I crush every day? And it was going to the office from 8 to 8, going home for dinner, and then coming back from 10 to 2. Because I said I could write fast, but then I was like, oh my God, I have this responsibility, and now I have to keep it. And that was tough.
I want to know, what is the first time have you gambled personally and won big? Because I remember my first time I won like a parlay or something like that. That's something that sticks with the gambler themselves. I know Dan's probably had a certain situation like that too.
I lost.
So my one big was actually like 2 years ago, which is crazy. I bet $1,500 that Northwestern would win the Big Ten.
No way.
And what I had known was this was just the beginning of the transfer portal. And I knew that we had a transfer quarterback and another transfer at a key position that they didn't know how to account for. So it was $1,500 to win $238,000. Northwestern was 3-9 the year before, so they just didn't know what was going on. So I put that money in, and they get to the Big Ten championship game, and I call PointsBet, and I go, I'm kind of a content guy. I call them the week of. I say, let's do like a deal or no deal. How about we watch the game, but I'm going to stream the offers that the banker gives to me. So they had Teddy Greenstein of PointsBet talking to a trader, and we're watching the game. And so we had 438,000 people watching the feed of me literally sweating my money as they're offering. Northwestern's up 10-6 at the half. They offer me $71,000. I said no to, again, my wife yelled at me. I said no to $25,000 before the game. It's $71,000. And I say no because Northwestern's getting the ball. Northwestern goes all the way down the field. They throw an interception in the end zone. Oh. It goes down to 65. And then Ohio State comes back. At that point, I see on my Twitter feed, on my tweet deck, that Greg Newsome is out for the second half. Now, in Northwestern, we do not go too deep. And Greg Newsome is one of our greatest cornerbacks ever. He is so good now. I mean, he's even better, okay, with the Browns. So I see that, and I go, I'm out. And they were so confused because there wasn't any play. Like, Northwestern just got the ball back. We're up 10-6. And I go, I'm out.
I'm done.
And they're like, you're done? I'm like, what's the final? And they gave me $68,000. Like, what's the final thing? And they go, why are you out? I'm like, listen, Greg Newsome and from there on in, and everyone else, Northwestern people say it's bad karma. That's what you gave us. But obviously, Ohio State then pounded us. So I got out on a cash out.
Smart man. Okay, so I have to ask. So my wife and I are actually talking about NFTs. We're talking about crypto, all that kind of stuff. Pretend like I'm 5 years old, which a lot of times my wife does. Right. For NFTs, crypto, like for people trying to get into it, like what is it? What are we missing? What should we not do?
So NFT stands for non-fungible token. It means that it's not fungible, which means that when something's fungible, $1 is always equal to 100 cents. On its face, your NFT is not worth anything. Now, you ascribe a value to it, right? This monkey is worth this, but it's not worth anything for sure. $1 is always worth 100 cents. You get that?
Yep.
Okay. So then it comes down to the art. Is it, if it's art or collectible, or it's on the blockchain? The blockchain is a ledger of events, of sales in front of your eyes that is immutable. You cannot change the ledger of it. So it is fully transparent. Now, of course, the problem is that crypto and the blockchain, like, to get there are a lot of non-transparencies. Like, I could have 7 different wallets and sell it to myself and then say, oh, everything's going up in value. So on crypto, it's like, to me, the reason why I went all in, and then why I got out in 41 days is because it didn't make sense to me. Okay, the stock.
I'm glad it's not just me.
It was all based on momentum, and you couldn't explain certain things. Now, the stock market has some things where you can't explain it, but basically it's based on a company's earnings, sentiment in the market. Crypto did not make sense to me, and the fact that it's had amazing returns over the past 5 years means nothing to me in the future. And the more I talk to crypto people, the more bullsh I thought it was.
Absolutely, man. And I'm kind of in the same boat with you. I just don't foresee the future within it.
There is no such thing as easy money. None. Never. Ever.
And I'm just not there. You tried to explain it to me. I was still lost in that moment. I couldn't get my head around it. Darren, we have a huge betting community within LA, and we got some really good prop bets for the Super Bowl coming up. I'm sure you've researched some of them. As a gambling expert, I want to hear some of the prop bets you're leaning towards for the fans out there for the Super Bowl.
Well, I kind of feel helpless because the number one most bet prop is the coin flip. And as someone who's into data, that drives me absolutely insane.
Because it's literally a coin flip.
50-50.
I guess you need something to do that sounds cool and maybe funny, but I like money. I don't like, so that's ridiculous. I'm liking closer to the game. My favorite prop bet is Cooper Kupp receiving yards, and I'm going to like the under because this has gone from 100 to 108 and could be 109, 110 as we get closer. I'm going to like the under on that because I think it's the Super Bowl. You never know. I think there's going to be some mistakes in this game, and he's only hit 110 like 5 times this year. So I'm going to like that's where I'm going to hit. I'm not pre-betting this game because I don't think this game, and it sounds crazy from a gambling person, but I think the winner of this game is the one that makes the least mistakes. Now you could say, well, isn't that everyone? No. Have been plenty Super Bowl teams that can easily overcome mistakes. None of these teams can. So I'm going to bet it live, and it's going to be based on my feeling as to who is in the game and feels like they have their feet on the ground.
Now, I did see a prop bet earlier this morning about the top scoring quarter in the game. If you had a prop for top scoring quarter 1, 2, 3, 4, which
4.
Quarter? 4?
Yeah. I think everyone is kind of settled, and I think it would be 3 or 4. I would never do 1. You would probably get the greatest odds at 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I know you're not going to be betting live, or you're going to be betting live for the Super Bowl. Do you have any which way you'd be leaning if you were just going
probably
money line?
Rams, but not to cover the spread. So
not to cover the
yeah,
spread.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it's going to be close.
Okay. I think if it's close, I think Burrow is the guy that's going to scare me because I trust him a lot more in a tough situation than Stafford.
He hasn't made mistakes. I mean, plus you have Cam Akers who's fumbled the ball with the Rams and Stafford. Stafford is always going to not get the benefit of the doubt. He's always going to be seen as the white serviceable quarterback. He's just serviceable.
I want to know from your background, you went to school at Northwestern.
Yep.
Who were the sports teams you followed growing up, Darren?
Nets, Jets,
Whoa.
Mets.
The New York trio right there.
Yeah, Nets, Jets, Mets. Yeah. So I have not had and Northwestern and the Devils, but I'm a recent Devils fan. I've had one championship in my life. 3rd grade, 1986, the Mets.
The Mets,
That's
man.
it. Had I known that was going to be my only one, man. Oh.
You're talking to a San Diego native who has not won
you have zero.
Literally any.
You have
yeah,
zero.
it's been a sad
Okay.
world for the last 30 years.
I know,
of my
but
life.
I have more teams than you do. I have more
That's
chances.
true. You can shoot many more
Yeah,
shots
yeah.
than me.
Shoot many more shots. Last question I want to leave you with. What do the Jets need to do to kind of figure to right this ship? You're the Jets fan here.
Ooh.
You know them better than we do. I want to hear Darren Rovell's take on this.
I'm so lost because, the whole Johnson family, no one's running the ship. It's like Woody Johnson is in
It's
Europe.
the Black Pearl. It's sinking right now.
And there's no feeling that anyone's running the ship. So that's a helpless thing. It's okay if you want to be an owner that doesn't want to be Dan Snyder or Jerry Jones. I'm fine with that. But the no owner is just does not work. So I don't know. I'm kind of upset. I wish I give Robert Saleh more time, but my boy Mike Kafka from Northwestern, offensive coordinator at the Giants, and he's really good. He's going to be a head coach. I kind of wish the Jets got him, but yeah.
Ugh. Okay, last question. So you mentioned the Nets.
Yeah.
Trade deadline, NBA.
Harden.
Ben Simmons, James Harden. Is it happening?
I don't think Harden wants to play there, but and the Ben Simmons thing is just a little just garbage.
It's a catastrophe.
I feel
man.
weird. I'm a Nets fan, but I feel like this is a rent-a-Nets team, and so it's not genuine. Like, if Drazen Petrovic and Kenny Anderson and Derek Coleman won, I would feel like, okay. But this is all like a rent-a-Nets team, so I don't feel – it's so weird.
You're not
I don't
vested
feel like,
in them.
Yeah, I don't feel like I own them. I feel like it's like it's not right. It's not the same.
Well, Darren Rovell, we want to just thank you so much for coming on
Yeah,
live
yeah.
on Radio Row. Follow him on Twitter. He's got all the things you need for betting stuff, memorabilia, NFTs, things of that nature. Darren, thanks again, man.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, thanks for having. This was fun, man.
You got it.
This was